Let's see one of the important topic, that is variables and keywords. First, let us discuss what is variables. So these are identifiers to store or to hold data in computer memory. So these are the variables. They store some of the data in the computer memory. For example, if we take number is equal to 20. So number is a variable name and 20 is the value. Now we know that every statement in C program is ended with the semicolon. Now immediately in the computer, it creates one memory block with the variable name. Here the variable name is number and the value will be stored in the number block. So this is about the variables. And example 2, a equals to 10, b equal to 20 and c is equals to a plus b. So here a, b, c are the variables. So we are assigning some values to the variable name. Now this 10, 20 and a plus b, the final a plus b value, that is 10 plus 20 is 30. So 10, 20, 30 are the values. So this is about the variables. Here the declaration of variables. How we have to declare variables. In C programming, before using any variables, first user has to declare variables. So in program we use many variables. So before using them, we have to declare the variables. Now the syntax is data type variable 1 comma variable 2 and so on up to variable n. So here we write the data types. So we have some data types like integer, that is int, character for char, and floating points for float, and some other data types we have. So by using those data types and we declare the variables. So name of the variable is an identifier. Now example int number. So here int is a data type and number is a variable name. So not only one variable, we can create a number of variables by using the data type. So here number, which is which I want to declare it as an integer. So that's why I am using the data type as int. So if I want any character or the string, then I have to use the char data type. So here number is an integer. That's what I am using the int data type. So like int data type and variables, I am declaring a and b. So a is a variable 1 and b is the variable 2 and ended with the semicolon. Now int is a data type. So here it immediately in computer it creates one in the memory, it creates a and b, and in this the value of a will be stored and the value of b will be stored, because here now we did not give any values to the a and b, so that's why the block is empty. And for each integer it takes 2 bytes of memory. So in further class you will come to know what is data type and the memory it occupies. So but as of now, every integer value stores the 2 bytes of value, means for every variable it takes the 2 bytes. And for the float, so float also is a data type. So float x, char c, integer int y. So here float x nothing but x is a floating pointer, and char c nothing but some character, c stores some characters like a, b, c and etc. Alphabets can be used as a characters and special symbols also. And integer, so y can be any integer value that will be stored in the int. The further we use the data type as int. Now for the float x, char c, int y, for this all we are declaring x, c, y variables here. So here immediately in the computer, in the memory, it creates x, c and y. So in x variable the floating point will be stored. So for floating point it takes 4 bytes of memory. And for c, now c is also a variable and the data type is char. So in this character will be stored. So for that it takes 1 byte, because for character it takes 1 byte of memory. And y is an integer. It is an integer. For integer it takes the 2 bytes of memory. So we did not initialize here, we just declared the variables When we initialize, that value will be stored in these boxes. So this is about the declaration of variables. Now let us see definition or initialization of the variables. Now we have to declare the variable, declaration of variables is completed. Now we have to initialize the variables. So for that, the syntax is data type and the variable name. So this is called as the declaration, and after declaration we have to initialize it. Now this variable name we have to take and we have to assign it to the some value. So that equals to some value, like in previous example we took number is equals to some value. The same here, variable name is equal to some value and ended with a semicolon. This is called as the definition or the initialization. Here we are just declaring the variable and here we are initializing the variable. So this is one syntax. Or in the same line only we can declare, we can also initialize, like data type and variable name is equal to some value. So there are two ways of initializing a variable. The first one is taking the data type and declaration first, then after the initialization. The syntax 2 is in the same line we are declaring and we are initializing the variable. So these are the two ways to initialize the variable. Now let's see an example here. So for the syntax 1, integer, by using the integer data type I am declaring number variable. Now the declaration has completed. Now I have to initialize it. So number equal to some value I am giving, that as 100. Now this is added with the semicolon. This is the syntax 1. In the syntax 2, data type variable name equal to value. So other way of initializing a variable is int number equals to and 100. So these are the two ways of initializing a variable. This is for the data type int. Now it can store only the integer value. For float it can only take the decimal values. Now let's see for the character. So char c, nothing but it stores only the character. Now the declaration has completed. Now I have to initialize it. So c is equals to a. So a is a one character. Character can only store the single characters. So this is a char is a data type. Now for character it stores, it takes the 1 byte of memory. Now the example 4 is for the example 3 is for the float numbers. Now float x is equals to 1.72. So directly I am initializing it by, this is the second syntax, and here this is the first syntax. Now finally the double is also a data type. So double percentage is a variable is equals to 92.433 and ended with the semicolon. So this is the second syntax. So data type and then variable and is equals to some value, and float data type x is a variable is equal to some value, and here the character c declaration, then we are initializing it, variable name equals to value. Then here also this is the first syntax, integer and the variable, this is data type and variable name, and this is a declaration. Next the variable name is equals to some value. This is the initialization or the definition. And the syntax second one is data type with the variable name is equals to value. So this is all about the definition, nothing but the initialization of variables. Now the next topic is keywords. So keywords are also called as the reserved words, and C language supports the 32 keywords. So there are 32 keywords in the C language, and keywords are predefined. So these are already defined, and every keyword has a fixed meaning which is known to the compiler. So these all keywords are already known to the compiler, and each keyword has some meaning. Now all keywords should be written in lowercase letters only. So we cannot use the uppercase letters, and these all are predefined. So keywords should not be an identifier. So we cannot use the keywords as a variables or the identifiers. So let's see those 32 keywords here. Auto, break, case, char, constant, that is const, and continue, default, do, double, else, enum, extern, float, for, goto, if, int, long, register, return, short, signed, size of, static, struct, switch, typedef, union, unsigned, void, volatile, and while. So these all are the 32 keywords. We cannot use these keywords as the variables or the identifiers. So this is all about the variables and the keywords.